Hello, welcome to another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian, Pace reporting live here at La Passion Rouge here in New York City. Tonight I'm going to profile and interview a very dynamic soul vocalist who hails from Rochester, New York, and over the last decade he's made a mark here in New York City. Abiah has released his brand new CD, Life As A Ballad, and in the last 6 years after his debut, Chasing Forever, he decided to take a back seat and kind of change his style and write some very personal songs. And Life As A Ballad really is kind of like a metamorphosis of Abiah, where he is now, both as a person as well as spiritually. I sat down with the vocalist, songwriter earlier, and we talked about this new record. We also talked about some of his origins growing up in Rochester, New York, how he was exposed to music, as well as how he cut his teeth in the business by performing with the likes of George Michael as well as Yolanda Adams. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sounds of Abiah live here at La Passion Rouge here in New York City. Life as a Ballad. This is 6 years in the making, and this is your second record, and you went through a metamorphosis here over the last 6 years that you expressed musically as well as a person, as well as in spirit.
Sure. It was very important that I kind of reboot and get back to the place of when I first started the music, before I had my first record deal, and recognize that I know who I am, and I can then go forth and just be who I am and not have to worry about the noise and the clatter of the business, which can happen to most happens to most artists, I think, initially.
You know, this record, there's 9 songs, and then you've also have one of my favorite Prince records, which you've done in your version, called Doves.
Yeah. I thought it was important. I love to cover songs. I cover them a lot of times in concert. And I thought, coming back into the recording side of the business, that I would put my stamp on interpretation, because I think that's when someone makes a great song, it takes someone great again to interpret it well. And some of my biggest influences are someone like Nina Simone. And Nina Simone was known for revamping music that eventually sounded like it was hers. And I wanted to be able to do the same thing with Prince's music.
Being a dynamic pianist, vocalist, as well as performer. How is it now, 6 years later? Because you've been at this for almost 15 years. How does it feel now being the new person that you are musically, presenting your music to the new masses?
I'm so grateful, and so it feels so refreshing because somehow, even with my first record, I felt like I compromised something about myself. And this was the first time that I could come full-hearted and do a record with my favorite people and just share my heart. I mean, at the end of the day, we all are artists because we feel like we have something to share. And I feel like I have something so great to share musically and interpretively. And this was the greatest opportunity for me to do it. And, you know, I could have waited a little bit more, you know, maybe another few months before the next quarter. But I felt like I had to get it out because I had a timeline for myself. Otherwise, I found myself in the pattern of waiting again. And then I somehow would be dissecting the music and say, oh, something's not right. And you know what? Put it out there because then I can keep the momentum from this point.
I'm wasting my time, but if they only knew that your love remains true, if they just you're always on my mind. Think you hard all the time. Don't know what to do, 'cause I'm so in love with you. If you are in my life, nothing could ever be
This record also has some dynamic rhythm session musicians, and one of them is the dynamic drummer Ulysses Owens Jr., and also your cousin Robert Glasper, who's doing some dynamic things right now.
Yes, I'm really proud. I mean, I met Ulysses about before my first record deal, so we've been friends for quite some time now, and he has been such an incredible friend and an encourager in times when I was doubting myself. He was one of those people who said, man, the world is waiting to hear from you. And he was the first person that inspired me to go back in the studio and make this record. And then I just started hitting up all my favorite people, one being my cousin Robert Glasper, and him saying, you know what, you just let me know the dates, and his record hadn't come out yet. So he hadn't even recorded that record yet. So it was perfect timing.
Your very first record was released on Universal, and you really had a strong buzz going into the industry. What was it that took away, or what was it that you took away from the experience of being with the major and now going back to the independent route?
I think what I learned most importantly is to just know who you are, trust who you are, and be willing to stand up for those things when you have those meetings, because I think at the end of the day, someone signs you with great intentions. They want to release to the world what they fell in love with first. But I think what happens in the business, there are a lot of trends that start to happen, and when those trends start to happen, then something gets altered a bit, and they start having a different expectation of you versus just allowing you to be who you are. Now, some artists are made, and some artists are just who they are. I happen to be one of the artists who just is who he is, and I had to be willing to trust that. And I think the first time I was compromising a bit, and you live and you learn. I came away with so much strength this time, and at first I was a little broken. I have to be honest, because I've been in this business since I was 15 years old, and so I have been with major artists, and I've been in the lower valleys of this business, and I think at the end of the day, I had to be willing to trust myself, and that's what this record is about, just being who I am. And to put out a record called Life as a Ballad, and people find such joy from this record that I wasn't expecting. I didn't know what people would say. All I could do was be me.
Just to be vulnerable to you. Here I come, won't be late. I might drown all the sorrow, all the tears I made will make it better this time.
What people really don't know about you is that you are an accomplished vocal coach, and you have sung background with the likes of Emile LaRoe and Yolanda Adams. What's it like teaching and coaching and also being a background vocalist? Because most musicians have to get their foot in the door, and singing background is one of them.
This is very true. I enjoy coaching very much. It has become one of my biggest passions, and I never, didn't dream of this, but I also came from great tutelage. I was taught by some of the greatest teachers and singers in this business. So I find that what is lacking in the business is information too, in that a lot of people desire to be singers, but they don't really know what it means to be a real singer. Everyone now kind of sounds the same, but people before me, they had very distinct sounds, and there was something that was rewarded when you were unique. Now everyone kind of rewards being carbon copied. So I enjoy coaching. I think that, me being able to help other people find their true voice and who they are as an artist and artistically. I'm more than coach. I artist develop, because that's what I was given. And working with George Michael and these people that I sang backgrounds for, I learned a lot by watching, but also I was being put through, the business in a very interesting way. And I'm part of that last, I think, echelon of background singers who have then stepped out and had some success doing that.
Convinced
does soul music mean to you?
What does soul music mean to me? I think soul music is really a statement about being complete, bearing your heart on the stage, and then at the same time having all the right nothings.
That'll do it again for another edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting live here at La Passion Rouge here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank vocalist Abiah for his time, as well as the staff and management here at La Passion Rouge. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.
Been here before, and there's still a lot to say. Tired of all the tragedies. You alone set my soul